I think it's probably safe to say that we are entering into a new golden age of corruption in this country. And now, even some Democrats are trying to get in on that action. I mean, if you've done something wrong, if you've got a whole bunch of charges lined up against you, well, then go talk to Daddy Trump. Maybe Daddy Trump can save you. Seems like that's exactly what Mayor Adams from New York was thinking. He was indicted on fraud, bribery, and corruption charges, and after Donald Trump won the election, he schlumped his ass down to Mar-a-Lago and decided that he wanted to kiss that ring. And now the DOJ is embroiled in one of the largest scandals maybe ever. And it is just a damn shame that somebody who's ostensibly supposed to be on the left, an actual Democrat from New York, just got in bed with this wannabe authoritarian. This is absolutely despicable stuff. Let's go ahead and listen to Chris Hayes explain to us exactly what happened here, and then we will discuss. And if you do appreciate the work I do, please do remember to subscribe.
We are right now in the midst of the biggest scandal at the Department of Justice since Watergate in the 1970s. So far, 7 prosecutors have quit the DOJ in protest of Trump's corrupt deal with New York City's Democratic Mayor Eric Adams. In what can really best be described as a blatant quid pro quo, the charges in Mayor Adams' federal bribery case have been conditionally dropped for now in exchange for his full cooperation with Trump's plans for immigration enforcement and mass deportation in New York City. Now, yesterday, 6 career prosecutors, people who signed up to work for Donald Trump, resigned rather than help facilitate such obvious corruption by dropping the charges. This morning, a 7th DOJ official, a man named Hagen Scotton, the lead prosecutor on the case, joined them. In a letter to Trump's acting Deputy Attorney General, Emil Bovee, Scotton called the deal with Mayor Adams a serious mistake, and he insisted that no system of ordered liberty can allow the government to use the carrot of dismissing charges or the stick of threatening to bring them again to induce an elected official to support its policy objectives, adding that any assistant U.S. attorney would know that our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, in this way. If no lawyer within earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to follow your motion. But it was never going to be me.
So I just want to put a little bit of a finer point on this. Mayor Adams was indicted on, like I said, fraud, bribery, and corruption charges. He was basically taking money from foreign nationals so he would do his bidding there in the city of New York. And then Trump comes along and says, hey, I want you to cooperate with my mass deportations and whatever other favors that they may have been involved with. And I will drop those charges, but I'm going to do it with prejudice, which means they can bring those charges at any time within that statute of limitations. So basically, Trump has a carrot and a stick to hold over Mayor Adams. Do as I say, or I will follow through with the charges. This is not how our justice system is supposed to work. And now 7 prosecutors, some who are involved with this case, others who were asked to drop this case, have resigned in protest. And these aren't a whole bunch of crunchy liberals. These are people, I think most of them, signed up to work for Donald Trump. These are Trump's people. These are people who are involved with the Federalist Society. But they stood up for their ethics, they stood up for their values, and they understood that this was corrupt to its very core. So I admire each and every one of those people who stood up for their values, who took their oath to the Constitution seriously, and called the Trump administration out for their blatantly corrupt wheeling and dealing. This is absolutely disgusting stuff. We have the President of the United States engaging in corruption that we used to lambaste other countries like Ukraine for doing. I mean, it's just such an embarrassment for the United States of America. And now you have the border czar, who was handpicked by Donald Trump, going on Fox News with Mayor Adams and basically threatening him on live television. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. Let's go ahead and take a look.
couch talking to
You
Fox
are
and
sitting
Friends.
today talking about the new alliance between ICE and Adams. So thank you very much for coming and
Thank you. Alliance was never severe.
And if he doesn't come through,
You're up early anyway.
if he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City,
Right.
and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?" So,
And I want ICE to
will
deliver.
move
And I
forward.
want ICE to deliver. We're going to deliver for the safety of the people of this city. Let's focus on every American and New Yorker should have the right to have an opportunity and survive in this city.
We're going to
safely.
hold you to that.
I mean, this is just absolutely despicable. You've got Mayor Adams being threatened to the guy or from the guy on his left, and he's just sitting there chuckling along. I mean, you can't get any more corrupt than this. You have a Trump official who was hand-selected by Donald Trump making threats on basically what is state TV. I mean, that's basic. I mean, what is Fox News if not state TV for Donald Trump these days? I mean, it's just, I don't even have any words for it. And to my surprise, Steve Doocy actually called out what a corrupt deal this actually was. And he called out that carrot and stick that we've kind of talked about. Listen to it here.
The interesting thing about this memo is the dismissal suggestion is not about the facts in the case or the law, but it's about other considerations, because what the DOJ is asking for is the dismissal saying the indictment limits Adams' ability to help Donald Trump and the migrant crisis here in this city right here. And the indictment threatens to interfere with the June 2025 primary. And to Brooks' point, charges could be brought after the primary if there's something new.
So just think about what is going on here. We're not going to look at the case and evaluate it based on its merits, based on the actual evidence that's involved. No, we want you to be able to work for us, work with us, so you can carry out mass deportations, do what other favors we might have in mind for you, and we'll go ahead and drop those charges. We're not going to look at the facts in the case, but if you mess up, we're coming after you. That is what it is saying here. And for Mayor Adams to play along in all of this is just beyond frustrating. The people of New York do not deserve this type of corruption from their own mayor. And luckily for New Yorkers, Kathy Hochul is able to remove him from his post. And I think that is exactly what she should do, because not only would Mayor Adams be removed from the post, but the corruption charges would likely be filed against him again, because now he can't carry out Donald Trump's corrupt dealings. So if we want people held accountable for their crimes, now, of course, Mayor Adams will have the right to fight these charges in court, just like he should have the right to. But should we be putting the people of New York through that? I believe that we absolutely shouldn't. And I think Kathy Hochul has an obligation to her constituents to remove Mayor Adams. Because just think about the perverse incentives this sets up. You have Mayor Adams being led around by the wannabe authoritarian Donald Trump and his administration. And therefore, how is Mayor Adams supposed to be expected to put New Yorkers' interests first? He's already shown us he's willing to put his own interests first by engaging in these corrupt wheeling and dealings. And Kathy Hochul was recently asked about her removing Mayor Adams, and this is what she had to say.
The allegations are extremely concerning and serious.
Yes.
But I cannot, as the governor of this state, have a knee-jerk, politically motivated reaction like a lot of other people are saying right now. I have to do it smart, what's right, and I'm consulting with other leaders in government at this time. We've got to have one sane person in this state who can cut through all the crap and say, what is my responsibility, guide me to do? And just as when the allegations came out last September, and the city was in chaos, I said, I will intercede, work with the mayor to get rid of a lot of people who are under indictment, calm it down, bring in a new police chief commissioner who's doing an outstanding job. Our subways are safer. People are feeling better around the city. More people are coming back. I don't want our rebirth to be stopped by this. I have to maintain stability and the chaos and do what's right for the city of New York, because as governor, I also represent the city. These are my constituents as well. I'm going to make sure they're protected here. So if this just happened, I need some time to process this and figure out the right approach.
But you are consulting with other leaders, consulting with your advisors, and looking anew at this matter,
Of course I am.
given the recent
Of course I am.
Now, I respect the hell out of this answer. There's not too many politicians that will go out there and say, hey, look, this just happened. I need a second to process this. I need to consult with my advisors. And so I will get back to you on that. I can respect the hell out of this answer coming from a politician. But I think the ultimately right thing to do is to boot Mayor Adams. He's already showed us that he's putting his own interests above his duties as a mayor. And after you read some of the prosecutor's statements about this case and how strong it was and how they were actually talking about adding more crimes to the charging document, it seems really ludicrous that they would just allow Mayor Adams to continue forward with this disgusting deal from the Trump administration. Because by all accounts, Mayor Adams seems guilty of what he was charged with. And so I do think it is the right thing to do for Kathy Hochul to remove Mayor Adams. I think there's been an uprising from New Yorkers to boot his ass out as well. And I think that they should follow through with it because he's just not a trustworthy figure anymore. He already got into bed with Donald Trump to save his own ass. And we just can't expect him to put the interests of New Yorkers first. And I just want to play you this one last clip because Mayor Adams was asked about Kathy Hochul's response here. And I wanted to show you this because you see how he kind of personifies or uses the same language as Donald Trump. Oh, I've done nothing wrong. Look at all the good I've done. It's just the same wannabe authoritarian bullshit that we hear from Donald Trump. I never do anything wrong. Everybody's out to get me. I'm the victim, and yada, yada, yada. So let's go ahead and take a look at this clip, and then we will discuss.
Governor Hochul said last night with Rachel Maddow that she would consider removing you. How would you feel about that?
She has her role, I have my role. And throughout this entire ordeal, which I think no American should have to go through, the torment of 15 months that my family and I had to endure for something I didn't do. I didn't do anything wrong. Throughout the entire ordeal, I said one thing. My attorney will handle the legal part. I'm going to handle running the city. We return jobs to our city. Our city is getting safer. We're building housing. I think that this is a great American narrative where I stood focused on what I was elected to do.
I want you to address the
Look, Governor Hochul is an embarrassment to the position she holds.
Oh, poor Mayor Adams. You've done nothing wrong. You've been persecuted for the last 15. What you've had to endure because of all of these fake charges against you. I mean, where have we heard this language before? This is the same type of shit that Donald Trump says like every single day. And if you've done nothing wrong, why would you feel so compelled to enter into this relationship, this corrupt relationship with Donald Trump? It makes absolutely no sense. There was obviously a quid pro quo here. You were obviously asked to do Donald Trump's dirty business in exchange for them dropping the charges. And now you want to act like you're the victim, like you've done nothing wrong, like these charges were just fabricated out of thin air, even though the prosecutors in the case have resigned in protest because they knew this case was so strong and therefore it shouldn't be dropped at the Trump administration's request. I mean, it is all laughable. Mayor Adams is a despicable human being. Tom Homan is a degenerate. And now they are out there on state TV, Tom Homan making threats against the mayor for this quid pro quo. This is not how the United States is supposed to work. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to function. You are not supposed to be holding charges over someone's head so they can do the corrupt dealings of Dear Leader. It's just an absolute embarrassment for this country. Donald Trump proving yet again that he is probably the most corrupt president that this country has ever seen. And America, we really deserve better. And so does New York. So I think Kathy Hochul should boot this asshole out of office. They should reelect somebody who will better serve the needs of New Yorkers. And then hopefully Mayor Adams will actually be prosecuted for these crimes. And if he committed the crimes, I think he should be held accountable. So I will leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I very much appreciate that. We have to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against the right-wing media ecosystem that is just pushing disinformation, misinformation all day long on Donald Trump's behalf. So if you do appreciate the work I do, please do remember to subscribe. If you want to see how MAGA lunatics are now just deciding that Trump should be a king, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.